Hello, my fellow leaders. I'm Starboy, and this marks my 20th Transformers review. Today, we'll be taking a special look at Transformers Power of the Prime's leader class, Rodimus Prime. This figure came out in 2017 as part of Wave 1 of the leader assortment. For those of you who don't know who Rodimus Prime is, he was introduced in the 1986 Transformers movie as a successor to Optimus Prime, who always seemed to be in way over his head with the responsibility thrust upon him. Before taking the mantle of Prime, he was a young and cocky Autobot known as Hot Rod, and that is who we'll be starting with. Hot Rod turns into an extremely sleek but boxy retro-futuristic vehicle mode. I quite like the look of the vehicle, which is much more stock straight than his curvier Titan's Return counterpart. Unlike his Titan's Return counterpart, he does not feature an opening cockpit or places to store weaponry in this mode. What he does feature, however, is a very nice and crisp flame deco on his hood with a very vibrant Autobot symbol. The car mode is very sleek, except for small gaps in either side or the back. For size comparison, here's Dark of the Moon Bumblebee, Bionicle 2015 Tahoe, Titan's Return Hot Rod, Titan's Return Cup, Titan's Return Blur, Generations Springer, and Titan's Return Galvatron. Transformation to Hot Rod's robot mode is a huge cheat. The vehicle mode's hood just ends up on Hot Rod's back, with the real chest on the underside of that piece. Forming the limbs is simple and boring, and the only highlight of the transformation is the clever way the head comes out of his chest and replaces the front bumper. When I first got this figure, I hardly cared for Hot Rod's robot mode. It looked too much like an immobile stick from many angles, but as time went on, I grew to like this robot mode, which looks surprisingly animation accurate from some angles. I really dig the head sculpt. It looks very much like masterpiece levels of slavishness. I'm still iffy on the construction of the arms, but in certain poses they work really well. What don't work well are the foil stickers. The factory-applied foil stickers. I really do not like the stickers Hasbro introduced to their toy line, since they feel very flimsy and they peel very easily. Titan's Return Broadside will be a fun future review. Maybe someday I'll come back and fix him up right with some repro labels. As they are right now, I really don't like them, though the ones on his shins are alright and are holding pretty well. For size comparison, here's Bumblebee, Tahoe, Hot Rod, Cup, Blur, Springer, and Galvatron. Hot Rod comes with two weapons, his standard G1 blaster and another rifle with some fins at the end. They're both made of unpainted black plastic, but they look alright as they are. He can hold them in his hands in robot mode, but have nowhere to go in vehicle mode. At least Hot Rod's vehicle mode. We'll get to that later. Okay, so I'm doing the same thing I did for my Jazz review, because like Jazz, Hot Rod here has some sort of weird joints. He has a basic head swivel, which works pretty well. You can go about that far in either direction. Otherwise, it just starts banging into these collar piece. His shoulders are on an outward hinge that goes about that far down and about that far up. And they're connected to this ball joint. Allows them to move really far, but again, not that far out. He has a ball-jointed elbow, which is nice. Allows for a bicep swivel and stuff. And then he has another double-jointed elbow. This helps for transformation into Rodimus Prime. That allows him to get this really nice curl. I really like it. He has the skirt piece can flip up. He has no waist swivel, even though there could be one, theoretically, though it would probably just be impractical. He has universal joints for his hips. They can go out really far, but they can't go up that far. Instead of a thigh swivel, he has a swivel right above the knee, which is nice. A good knee joint. It doesn't go that far, neither does the hip. So he can't exactly do like a high frontward kick, but he can break his knee and it can go a little further than that. And for the ankle, he just has a simple ankle joint here, which allows him to get some alright poses. He's not bad, he's just not great. Going back into Hot Rod's vehicle mode, he can combine with a trailer of sorts to become the space Winnebago we all know as Rodimus Prime. I have to say, I really like this vehicle mode. It incorporates the smaller Hot Rod vehicle without being an absolute chore to combine like, say, MP09 Rodimus Convoy. It's nice, it's simple, and it's effective. It's very much a new take on the original 1986 figure, though the spoiler is a lot more inward set compared to the original. I don't mind it so much. What I do mind are, again, the foil stickers. These feel sloppily applied and are starting to peel off near the edges. Hasbro, if you insist on using stickers, at least let them be user applied. For size comparison, here's Bumblebee, Tahoe, Hot Rod, Cup, Blur, Springer, and Galvatron. Assuming you have everything pegged in right, Hot Rod can be a bit of a bother trying to get out of the trailer. But once freed from his plastic backpack, Hot Rod converts into the upper torso of Rodimus Prime in a very fun and exciting way. It's so much more involved than the transformation of Hot Rod's robot mode, and the hood of the vehicle actually becomes the chest of Rodimus Prime. The head reveal when you fold the car down in the middle gets me every time. From there, cast away the disembodied torso and move on to the trailer. A bit of parts forming will be necessary to form his arms, which I have no problem with. Again, these can be hard to separate from the trailer. The trailer's conversion to the rest of Rodimus Prime is also easy and fun. All of the movements are very simple, yet they accomplish a lot. Catching a glimpse of the matrix of leadership, it's time to combine the parts. Putting Hot Rod in place is pretty easy, though pegging in the arm pieces can be challenging. But, once put together, you have the great Autobot leader Rodimus Prime. I absolutely love the look of his robot mode. It's very chunky and powerful compared to the lither, younger Hot Rod. He looks like he can go toe-to-toe with Galvatron any day of the week. And I must admit that the foil stickers for his robot mode are also well applied, so I have to give props there. The only angles that Rodimus Prime suffers from are any angle that shows just how flat his head is, or straight in the back, which is extremely hollow. I would have preferred the trailer panels to have folded up a little diagonally and compressed to fill out his back, but as it is, I really like what we got. For size comparison, here's Bumblebee, Tahoe, Hot Rod, Cup, Blur, Springer, and Galvatron. Remember the two guns Hot Rod could wield? Well, they can combine to form Rodimus Prime's iconic rifle. I really like this feature, but sadly he can't hold it too tightly due to the curved sculpting on his forearms. They can also store in the back of his vehicle mode. Also, lifting on Rodimus's hood chest reveals a matrix of leadership inside. You can take it out of his chest, but he can't hold it. You can also pop out the central crystal from its handles, and it can fit in any Power of the Prime's Deluxe Class figure's Prime armor, or you can put it in a Titan's Return head socket if you like that sort of thing. For posability, Rodimus Prime is a little less weird than Hot Rod, but a little more weird in places. For starters, he has another simple head swivel, which is fine, but he uses Hot Rod's leg joints as Rodimus Prime's shoulder joints. He has the universal joint that makes the outward hinge, and then he uses the thigh swivel as the shoulder joint, though the thigh rotation for the upward movement in Hot Rod's robot mode may also cause this part to spin independently from this part. He has a bicep swivel and a good elbow joint, as well as a wrist swivel, which is nice. Below the belt, he has no waist swivel, even though really he could have had one for this mode. There's really no excuse for this, besides maybe parts count. But he has nice, softly clicking ratchet joints for the forward motion, but the outward motion is just simple friction. He has a thigh swivel and a good knee bend, as well as an ankle joint that moves forward and back, as well as this heel joint that, can also act as a thing, but it's a little too loose to act as that. And ankle pivot! I love that. So overall, he's pretty posable. He should do everything you need him to do, and he can hold some pretty good stances without falling over because of his big feet. Rodimus Prime surprised me with just how good he is. I'll be honest, he didn't look all that special before I got him, but he offers a few surprises and neat tricks. Hot Rod himself is a little lackluster, but I just love everything to do with the full Rodimus Prime. On Leader Starboy's review scale, I'd have to rate Rodimus Prime as great. If he was just able to fit in a little extra engineering, I'd have given him an excellent, but as it is, he's still pretty great. This has been Leader Starboy. I'm going back to Prime with my next few reviews, hopefully something a little more terrifying.